Talks Mental, where we talk about everything related to mental health. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety with our psychology teacher, Mr. Keough. Do you want to tell us about yourself?
Oh, I'm Mr. Keough. I teach high school world history and psychology and AP psychology here at Valley Park High School.
Do you want to give us a little background on what the difference is between anxiety disorders and generalized anxiety?
So with generalized anxiety, that is something that everybody at some point feels in their life, depending upon a situation. Could be temporary, could be something that happens in the moment, whereas generalized anxiety disorder is when that is something that is much more debilitating for that individual. It is something that prevents that individual from being able to participate in what we define as a normal situation. Normal is different for everybody, but this is preventing them from being able to participate. So whereas we all feel anxiety, it may not be something that lasts forever. This is something that's different with generalized anxiety disorder.
What are some good coping mechanisms that you would recommend?
I think it's understanding just who you are and understanding like what makes me feel calm. Like I like to be able to listen to music whenever I am a little bit anxious. I like to be able to go for walks. I think physical activity is a great thing for a lot of people. It allows them to kind of escape a little bit, get them in a temporary different state of mind. I think some people drawing and coloring is something that they really like to do. I know some friends who are really good sketch artists who, whenever they are stressed, like that's what they like to do the most. For me, I like to walk. I like to be outside, listen to music, do something to kind of like take my mind off of what's ever at that moment.
What are some symptoms physically and mentally?
So for physical symptoms, you can feel anxiety with just how you are getting a good night's sleep. Most people with anxiety are not going to get as good a sleep, or they may not get a full night's sleep. It might be interrupted, a couple hours here, a couple hours there. You might feel stressed in the evenings when you are trying to sleep. Physical symptoms can also be just like your skin. You might have rashes or hives, depending on how severe this anxiety is at that moment. For mental, it is the waking up and wanting to approach the situation. Man, I don't want to go to school today. I don't want to go to work that day. I don't want to do the assignment for graduate school that day. For me, that's what it was always for a master's program is I have to do the thing today. I don't want to do the thing today. But so that's you kind of feel that sense of impending doom in some cases in there. For mental, it is understanding what decision I'm going to make that day to approach how I'm going to handle this stress and anxiety. So mental is just understanding, like making my checklist. So like I have to accomplish parts A, B, and C today. I have to start with A. I have to do B. I have to do C. So it's have it organized thinking that way.
What are some warning signs of panic attacks or anxiety attacks?
I think it's understanding what is your thing that will cause anxiety, understanding what is that situation. Is it a situation I'm trying to avoid? Is it a situation I can't avoid? For example, I remember when I was in the middle of graduate school, I couldn't just avoid graduate school. I just had to understand this is an ongoing thing. I have to be able to prioritize important dates. I have to be able to prioritize class. So if I can't avoid it, how do I work with it? How do I embrace it? And how do I go on with it? If it's something that comes on based off the circumstance, maybe it's more of a generalized anxiety disorder thing. It's maybe knowing what is that physical environment that can do that, and maybe try to avoid it. You can't always do that in every situation, though. So you have to understand, if I can't avoid it, what am I going to be able to do in this situation to overcome those obstacles?
What are some preventative measures for anxiety?
I think it's knowing yourself, knowing what makes me happy, and also knowing what is going to cause me stress, and coming up with solutions to be able to handle that. If I know that tests are going to stress me out, I have to learn how to prepare for tests, not trying to prepare the night before. Maybe it's a couple nights before. Maybe it is knowing that a social situation's coming up that it's like I may not really like big crowds, or understanding that I have to talk with new people that I've never met before. It's practicing, rehearsing, and also just being able to be sometimes okay with being uncomfortable. Everyone is uncomfortable once in a while in social situations. It's okay to sometimes be uncomfortable surrounding new people and just embracing that as too.
What are some of your opinions on medication for anxiety?
So medication can help individuals. It is not always a one-size-fits-all treatment for everybody, and that's something in my AP classes we discussed, is that medication can do wonderful things for people. it's not the solution for everybody, and it should not always be approached as the solution for everybody. There are things that don't require medication. But if that is something that the patient and a psychiatrist have discussed and they've come to that conclusion, that if that's their best option, then that's their best option for them. I think medication can do wonderful things, though.
What's your advice for people with anxiety?
I think it's being able to, first off, you have to know who you are. You have to know what situation it's going to give you the most anxiety. You also have to have strategies to be able to approach that. There are times where anxiety, you cannot just get away from it. Like I said, I keep using graduate school. Another great example was planning for my wedding. You can't overcome the stress of planning for a wedding. It's just stressful. There's a lot of decisions. And you have to understand that going in. You have to have strategies to go with it. And I also think it's surrounding yourself with a good group of people. People who will take care of you, people who will check in on you. You have to be able to not only check in on yourself, but having friends and family, that social network, that's really important for just anything in life, is having a strong sense of community in that way.
What's your advice for those who are close to people with anxiety?
I think it's always check in on them. I think that something we take for granted nowadays is social media is so easy to look at and be like, think that person has a great life over there. Or texting is so easy to talk with my friends group chat, for example. We're always talking, but sometimes the conversation isn't, hey, how are you guys doing today? Or, what is everyone having a good week so far? I'm having a really rough week. Like, that's not a conversation I think people just naturally do. I think we always just assume things about our friends, like, oh, we're talking to them, they have to be doing well. Be that person who reaches out to that person and recognizes, hey, I really haven't heard from this person in a while, so how are you doing? And be that person who's proactive in there. So surrounding yourself with good people and also being a good person yourself is always important.
Yeah, well, thank you for talking with us today.
Absolutely.
Make sure to check out all of our other interviews and videos. Yep.
Wonderful.
See you next time.